Have you ever felt like your intelligence is a burden rather than a gift? Have you ever been in a room full of people and felt like you were speaking a different language simply because your thoughts were too deep, too complex, or too unconventional for them to understand? So, you are not alone. Throughout history, intelligence has been feared, rejected, and even punished. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, observed that society does not always celebrate intelligence. Instead, it often resents it. But why? Why do people resist those who think deeply, question the world, and challenge the norm? And more importantly, how should intelligent individuals navigate this reality? The threat of intelligence. The first thing to understand is that intelligence is not just about knowledge. It is about perspective. It is about seeing the world in a way that others do not, recognizing patterns, questioning traditions, and seeking truth even when it is uncomfortable. And this makes intelligence a threat to those who prefer to live within the boundaries of familiarity. Most people do not seek truth, they seek comfort. They accept what they have been told without questioning. They follow traditions without understanding them. They live in the illusion that the world is simple, that authority is always right, and that the majority must always be correct. But the intelligent mind does not accept these illusions. It seeks clarity. It seeks understanding. It seeks something deeper. And this is where the conflict begins. When an intelligent person speaks the truth, people often reject it. Not because it is wrong, but because it forces them to confront the fact that they might have been wrong all along. And that is something most people cannot handle. Instead of embracing knowledge, they attack the messenger. Instead of questioning their own beliefs, they ridicule the one who dares to think differently. The loneliness of intelligence. Schopenhauer believed that intelligence often leads to isolation. The smarter you are, the harder it becomes to find people who truly understand you. Conversations that others enjoy might seem meaningless to you. The things that excite the majority may not interest you at all. And as a result, you may feel disconnected, as if you do not belong. This loneliness is not a flaw, it is a sign of depth. Most people live on the surface, talking about entertainment, gossip, or trivial matters. But if you crave deeper discussions, if you seek meaning beyond the superficial, you will often find yourself alone. This is not because there is something wrong with you, it is because true intelligence is rare. And rare things are not always appreciated by the majority. But do not let this discourage you. Instead, let it empower you. Understand that solitude is not a weakness. It is a space for growth, for reflection, for deeper understanding. Many of the greatest minds in history spent large parts of their lives in isolation, not because they wanted to, but because their intelligence set them apart. Why society celebrates mediocrity? Look around you. Who does society reward the most? More often than not, it is not the thinkers, the innovators, or the truth seekers. It is the entertainers, the conformists, the ones who say what people want to hear rather than what they need to hear. This is because mediocrity is comfortable. It does not challenge. It does not provoke. It does not force people to change. And change is something that most people fear. This is why intelligence is often met with hostility rather than admiration. People may respect intelligence when it benefits them, when it creates technology, when it makes their lives easier, when it entertains them. But when intelligence begins to challenge the way they think, when it forces them to see the flaws in their beliefs, it suddenly becomes unwelcome. This is why many intelligent people struggle with recognition in their own time. Socrates was sentenced to death for corrupting the youth. His crime? Encouraging them to think critically. Galileo was imprisoned for challenging the accepted view of the universe. Nietzsche was dismissed as mad, only to be recognized as a genius long after his death. Society does not celebrate intelligence until it has no choice but to acknowledge its value. And by then, it is often too late. How to navigate a world that resists intelligence. So, what should you do if you are an intelligent person in a world that does not always appreciate intelligence? The answer is simple. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep thinking. Keep questioning. Do not expect validation from the majority. Do not waste your energy trying to fit into a world that does not understand you. Instead, seek out the few who do. The burden of seeing too much. One of the challenges of being highly intelligent is the burden of awareness. You see the world not just for what it is, but for what it could be. You see problems before others recognize them. You understand consequences before they unfold. And while this ability is powerful, it can also be exhausting. Because the more you see, the harder it becomes to ignore the flaws, the contradictions, and the injustices that others accept as normal. It can feel frustrating when you recognize solutions that others refuse to see. It can be disheartening when you try to share your insights, only to be met with resistance or apathy. But understand this, your intelligence is not a curse. It is a gift. And every great change in history began with someone who saw what others could not. The strength of standing alone. If there is one thing that history has taught us, it is that those who stand alone today are often the ones who lead tomorrow. The intelligent mind is rarely recognized in its time. The world may reject you now, but if you remain steadfast in your pursuit of truth, knowledge, and growth, your impact will be felt long after you are gone. So embrace the struggle. Accept that not everyone will understand you, and that is okay. Because the world does not need more people who conform, it needs more people who dare to think differently. Intelligence is not always welcomed, but it is always needed.